Man, I just don't give a fuck about this fight. With a $20 million gate, allegedly, within 2 weeks, it seems like I am the only one who thinks that Conor is completely irrelevant to modern MMA, and nice but dull Chandler is probably the least enticing matchup they could have made. To make content while the casuals search. Conor came onto the MMA scene like a wrecking ball, and I was just as hype as everyone else. In the good old days, he was so exciting to watch. Just as exciting to watch fight as he was to watch talk.
I'd like to take this chance to apologise to absolutely nobody.
He had a unique style, flashy finishes, witty retorts. Perfection. Then he got all cokey and weird and stopped fighting as much and looked questionable when he did, and the injuries and the bad tweets and worse live interactions. And then there were the steroids and the muscles and the thing on the boat and all the assault accusations and that terrible movie which was like an assault on the eyeballs, and the money distractions and fingers in pies, some that didn't consent. And I just lost interest. I like fighting, you know? They're not fighting, I'm not paying attention. I didn't watch that series of The Ultimate Fighter that this whole thing's about. But more unusual than that, I don't think I saw any clips knocking about. Like, did you watch it? Did anyone watch it? Can you tell me, was it good? And it was so long ago. They've set this date like 50 times. None of us are getting any younger, especially Conor and Chandler. You'd think they'd want to speed this whole thing up before they have to move it across to Bellator, you know, where UFC fighters go to die. But they're fighting now, so let's talk about it. It's not even really that exciting of a matchup. Let me have some coffee. Where's my coffee? Like, we all know that Conor has always picked his fights strategically, and the UFC has always let him pick his fights strategically because he makes them a shit ton of cash. He's probably seen the same things that we have. I think that's the first time I've dropped my eyebrows this entire... I can move them, just constantly surprised. He's probably seen the same things that we have, you know. Chandler has started to care more about being exciting than smart. In Bellator, he was more calculated. He'd mix in his high-level grappling to beat his opponents. In the UFC, he's reckless. He brawls. And against Conor, that opens him up to be caught with that precision left. But that's not all we see. We don't know, or maybe it is. What point am I trying to make? We don't know what Conor we're gonna see. We don't know how much he's been training. We don't know how the leg is. We don't know if the weight is gonna impact that unique movement. And honestly, I think the weight gain is more beneficial to Chandler's style. Conor has struggled, both against guys that can put him on his back and guys that can strategically attack those legs. Chandler should look to do the latter to set up the former, and not be a fucking idiot about the whole thing. Of course, it'll be more exciting if vintage Conor comes out and knocks Chandler out in 12 seconds, fast-tracking himself to another title shot in another division. What won't be exciting is if this fight goes for 5 rounds. Like, if it gets past round 2, it's gonna be a slow-motion parody of a fight. Who you got, if you care?